Yeah.
And number
So
4 is waiting in the wings.
rookie numbers, Cookie. Get it? Oh, damn! It really is waiting.
Hello.
I need to get me a bottle. Damn, dude, I need to start doing this shit right.
I've learned we go long enough in these things. I need someone in the bullpen. Like,
That's right. No way. That's a perfect reference for the sports day.
He's on deck.
Well, let me start this off with Cookie. I watched the last episode. Cookie did the last episode of All English Podcast. That was episode 29.
This, you know what that means? This is number 30.
Number 30, which honestly, it's crazy because I feel like we just started. But Cookie flew solo last time because like I had to go to New York with the team.
I'm just gonna cut you off real quick and just say, as much as I really enjoyed the conversation, and I know you're about to talk about it, I didn't like the solo.
Well, I think you did great. I think it went really well. Like you could tell you're a natural journalist because like you know her and you know her story. So the questions kick in. Her story is pretty incredible, and I wish I got to be on for that. So we'll definitely have her back sometime. And her audio was outstanding.
Learned a lot and as I kind of referenced through it, and I think most don't know, and I even put it kind of in the description of one of the, I think it was the first short clip I posted, saying there's no other form of cancer I think that's talked about more than breast cancer. And yet, even in that short, like 1 hour conversation we had, which 45 minutes of it was around the breast cancer side of things. We got into some more fun stuff with her business after that, but learned so much that I never would have known. Some I probably could have figured out, and some I definitely did know, but wanted to hear more about from the mental health side of it and the family side of it. But all the other kind of, I mean, for lack of a better term, side effects that are involved in the situation with, you know, her arms and the swelling and all that goes along.
And the rupture, hearing about the rupture, it was even on the other side. Like there's a lot of crazy stuff with it.
Oh my God. You saw my reaction. I mean, that like was, I mean, I knew, again, cause I've known Crystal a very long time. As John and I talked about before we started recording, I first met Crystal in my photography days. In fact, the little video clip I posted at the very beginning, that's Christian right over my finger there that she's standing next to on stage. You know, she's always had the breast implants. She was a fitness bikini competitor.
She was shredded.
She was shredded. She was a trainer too. So it wasn't just about her doing the bikini competitions and not like the Hooters bikini competitions, but like the
right. No, that was like her life. That was like fitness stuff.
It was the fitness bikini competitions, and she won a lot. And when she wasn't winning, she was placing pretty high in those, as for obvious reasons. And that goes along with the conversation of just, as I say in the title of the actual video, cancer doesn't discriminate. There's not a healthier person I've ever known in my life than her, and she took very good care of herself. It doesn't matter.
That was actually the point. She made a very good point, and she's like, she ate right, she exercised, she was healthy, and it didn't matter. And I think that's something that people these days, I mean, granted, a lot of the way our food is made doesn't help, but it's, you know, living with that and not having it in her family, and she still got it. And I was actually, all I could think about, you talked a lot about the MS people. All I could think of was the doctor was like, oh, come back in a year. When she said, I was like, you fucking kidding me?
Well, and I was trying not to be too harsh about it, because you and I don't have the slightest medical training. I know there's a reason behind it. I have no doubt there's a reason behind it. My argument, which I tried to make with her, was, okay, if that's what needs to be done, which apparently doctor number 2 said 6 months, which would still, for any normal human being, would be like, I have to wait 6 to 8 months to a year. In that fear, like, explain it better. It may not make it better, but at least give me a better explanation as to why we have to wait that long. And perhaps they did. And I can only imagine, and I'm going to try and defend Crystal. Well, I will always defend Crystal, but in this conversation where when you're hearing this, I'm sure there's a level of just you're shut off. You're not hearing everything because how could you at that point? So
Yeah.
that conversation probably did happen at some point, and it just gets lost in the whole emotion of the thing and all that. So it's just
Yeah, for sure.
But
And
how
that
do you
just
go?
comes down to
How do you go from a year to saying no, 6 months is fine? And like she
so
said,
long. Yeah.
if they had gone the full year or potentially even longer, it could have, moved up. I mean, I never even heard of stage 0, by the way.
I didn't either.
But the thought that if they had waited longer, it could have gone to stage 1 or 2 or beyond. And then you're talking, like she said, about chemotherapy and all that kind of stuff, which she thankfully didn't have to go through.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, you talk to the MS people, you talk to these people with chronic illnesses, like the advocating for yourself thing, that's where that comes in. But for those of you, if you haven't seen it yet, go back to the last episode. It's Cookie and his friend
Crystal.
Crystal.
Yeah.
And her story of dealing with breast cancer and stuff, and they go back a long way. Great episode. Cookie will be super critical of himself, but he did a great job.
I am very critical of myself, but and as you'll see in there's a long history with Crystal and I, including her family. I was with her sister Danielle for a good amount of time. We were a couple for a while. That was when we go back to my coaching resume from a couple weeks ago when I was going through which by the way, still, we're still dealing with that. Obviously nothing's changed in that thing. If you watched our episode from a couple weeks ago about my situation currently and on the coaching side. But when I was coaching in Brooklyn, New York, and then spent some time in Maine, that was all the time.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Because you've known her for so long, yeah. I then got confused and thought it was an older thing.
No, that was, yeah. The part with Danielle and I together was, that was Brooklyn.
That's what I mean.
It kind of started because Crystal played matchmaker. I'll throw that out there. I didn't mention that in the show the other day. Crystal was the one that played matchmaker in that deal, which it was important. It was special to me because that meant, she felt I was good enough for her sister, which was pretty cool. But it kind of started happening towards the end of my time in Marquette when I was already, Mike and I, Stanway and I already knew we were heading to Brooklyn, so it worked out well because Danielle and Crystal, her whole family, they're from Maine, as you might have figured out. In fact, Crystal, as we speak, is in Maine. She's been posting pictures.
Yeah, I heard her say she'll be there. And when you were talking about it,
she's already up in Bar Harbor with her husband Jason. I'm very, 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 can't say very enough, jealous.
Yeah, it's nice. I've only been up there like a couple times, but
I
never been up there like just a crap. Well, it's a nice place.
I lived up there for a few months when Danielle and I were still together, and we went to Bar Harbor together for I want to say maybe it was her birthday. It wasn't mine because that was before. But anyways, yeah, we went up to Bar Harbor for a weekend, and it was spectacular up there.
Nice. But so now we're getting into the sports episode again. We had our little week off, and I'm still dealing with the cough, but I'm at the tail end of it. I feel like well, and there's just whatever this new illness is, it's happening to everybody now. Like these coughs are lingering for 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. And so I just been dealing with that. And then the fact I work in industries where I have to talk a lot doesn't help the situation. But I was up in New York for Capitals games. Ovi's 3 away from 900. He still hasn't scored yet this year. He's had opportunities. He will. You don't even say it.
He's over the hill. He's done.
But he is still. I would not want to block his shot, man. But it's and then Cookies now. You guys are 10-0.
10-0.
Crazy.
And as of we're recording this on Wednesday, and I only bring that up because at 11 o'clock my time, noon your time, earlier today, the new coaches poll came out, and we moved up to number 7.
Yep, definitely. The school should definitely be taking actions against you guys.
I'm not going there tonight.
Cookie's not going there, but I'll be happy to go there. I've said my piece. But yeah, and it's I'm sure the guys still love having you on the bench for the games. You know, you're a wealth of knowledge for the game, and you're still their coach.
It was awkward. I'm not gonna lie. Friday in particular, especially early. The team meeting, we always do a team meeting a couple hours before because, as you know, guys get there 2 hours before game time on game nights. And we have a meeting about an hour and 45 before games. Give guys about 15 minutes to get kind of settled in. And we have a team meeting, and that's when the awkwardness kind of started. And then, you know,
Do you think it was awkward? Was it actually awkward, or was it just
it just
like
felt awkward. It might
just
not have
felt
been.
awkward on your end?
I don't know how the boys felt. I felt awkward because I hadn't seen him in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, because you had the weekend off too.
We had a weekend off. I couldn't go to practice as we talked about before because of the going back to full time at the auto parts warehouse. And so the first that meeting was awkward, and standing on the bench for like intros and national anthem was awkward. But once the game started, it goes back to being hockey again. And by Saturday, I was fine. But then, as I said to our buddy Kevin Klein after the game, and Kevin, I love Kevin to death, and he's the best human being I know, and I feel horrible because I'm kind of, and I know that he and Trish, his wife, his amazing wife, watch these, and I'm saying this now when I really should be saying this to their face, but I think they understand. I've been, I guess maybe the best word for this is dismissive in a lot of ways because they're trying their best to make me feel better and all that, and being very positive towards me, and I'm still not quite at a point where I want to hear it. And I feel awful because they're doing their best, and I know they mean well, and I've been admittedly, I mean, let's put it out there, I've been kind of a prick about it to people that don't deserve that, and they've done nothing wrong. In fact, quite the opposite. They've done everything in their power to help.
I would guarantee, knowing Kleiner, I would guarantee that he's not taking it personally.
No.
Like, he understands it. And Kleiner, he was talking all sorts of shit about you beforehand. He's like, I can't stand that.
Yeah, I'm a
I
prick.
can't even say that with a straight face.
No,
So
but it's
stupid.
still been tough. I mean, I'm somewhat of this just in general, but I've become a recluse, whatever you want to call it, for the last couple of weeks since this happened, not leaving the house much. Saw them last night because on Tuesday, we recorded the coach's show, which will come out tomorrow, Thursday.
Did he come out to Canadian Thanksgiving?
They were at Canadian Thanksgiving. That was a slight, I'm not going to lie, that was a bit odd for me as well. For those that don't, well, most people watching this probably don't know. For the second year in a row, our team is made up almost entirely of Canadians. So we have 8 on our roster, I think it is. 26 are Canadian. And then Jeremy's head coach is Canadian. So we started a tradition last year doing Canadian Thanksgiving at Holdfast Brewing, who you've heard me talk about a lot.
Never. I don't think you mentioned it. I'm surprised you're not wearing their friggin' uniform right now.
I almost did tonight. And very thankful to Honey Baked Ham here in Springfield for donating a ton of food. And it was just an amazing event this year again. But even that was this was not only the first time I had been with the players outside of the hockey side. We're just kind of hanging out, but also there were a ton of parents in town, and the parents all knew what was going on too. The parents' reaction was because most of them that were here I had never met. Part of the whole thing of guys being from Canada, they just send them down here. We don't see them. Some I had met before, but their reactions were, I'm very grateful. Some were flat out pissed. Some were, but all were very empathetic and wishing there was something that could be done differently. But it is what it is. And
it's great they're like that, but I understand being on the other end of that is like a.
Well, I think that's how my reaction's been. Unfortunately, with Kevin in particular, he's the most optimistic guy we know, and he's trying to just stay so positive with me and upbeat and energetic. And I'm just like, I'm just not there, man. I just need to be. He's invited me over to the house many times to have some whiskey. I'm like, I don't want to leave the house. I'm not there. I'll get there. I'm just not there yet. And I thought about this the other day, and I know we have more to talk about here, but I do want to say this because I thought about this the other day. What has happened to me this year, as we talked about on the show last time, is not new. This wasn't, you and I have both been through bullshit. I think the reason this hit me hard harder this time is, as I've said before, and this season in February, I will be turning 50. So I'm getting older. I know this doesn't look 50. I get it. It's beautiful, but I am turning 50 this year. And I think the accumulation of it all finally just got to me, even though it's happened over and over again. I think the sheer accumulation, and I thought I was in a spot to not have to deal with that anymore. Although, let's be honest, I've thought that before. But I think the accumulation of it all just finally hit me. And just the whole idea of I've given my life to this sport. I love this sport. It's my passion. The people in it are the best people I know. And I'm still just getting the kick in the gut every couple of years.
It's never ending. And so I did the podcast with Tatiana Rafter and her Good People in Hockey podcast, which Cookie was nice enough to point out that why do they have me if it's about good people in hockey?
Yeah,
but
change the name of that damn thing.
But we talked about like just hockey in general and how hard it could be and how it is. And, you know, she played pro, like we talked about, and she's not immune to it. And it's a thing that just happens over and over again. And it's why she had said, it's like, you need to be in a good mental health state and have thick skin going into the sport, whatever angle you're in at. And it's a weird thing where almost being a college player is one of the safest places you can be once the year starts. Cause you're there at least for the year, unless your grades suck. But
well, now, let me say this too, because the thick skin thing, I definitely agree with. And I'd like to think, because especially with not only how I was as a player, but how I've been as a coach, and people may disagree with this. I don't know. I like to think I have very thick skin, but even the thickest of skin can only take so much.
But yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, no one's impervious.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the point I got to, which is why I mean, admittedly, that first week, I'm glad we did the show. As I told you on the show, and you said something great at the end, and Klein noticed this too, and I've had some messages from some other people that by the end of that, our longest show ever, 2.5 hours. I don't even know if neither of us realized at the time.
Yeah.
As we were talking, but it was therapeutic for sure. I felt better at the end. Now, and then, this is what I'll go back to, because I didn't finish what I was saying a minute ago, because it's the same thing. It was therapeutic to do it. Then the show ended. Our games this weekend were therapeutic. Then Saturday ended. And Kevin came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I saw you smiling finally." I said, "Yeah, but now the game's over. And I'm back to reality." And that's kind of how I felt even after us recording that show a couple weeks ago. I felt great doing it. I'm glad we got to talk. Getting to have this conversation with one of my closest friends was important. Getting to have those games this weekend with the boys, being on the bench with them, having a great time, beating Iowa State.
I love that was just because of your history with it.
Yeah.
And I love how the fact you even got me. I never even set foot in that town. I think did we ever drive through it? No, I was thinking about going.
Well, we might have.
But oh yeah, it's true. We've kind of driven all over. But like the funny part about it is like you've gotten me to hate Iowa State. And I don't know shit about Iowa State.
No, so that was definitely therapeutic. But then the game ended Saturday night. I'm in the locker room. We have at this point, I mean, it doesn't matter who sees us. We'd have a post game tradition of doing a shot of really, nice whiskey. It's actually the Heaven's Door whiskey we have that my buddy Pico got for me when he was still working for them. And, we're doing that. And that's when Kevin said, "Hey, I saw you smiling out there." I said, "Yeah, Kevin, but it's over now, man. I got to go back to work on Monday." And there's nothing wrong with that. There's millions upon millions of people that have to go to work every day. And I'm not taking anything away from that. I know it sounds like it. And even just saying it, I felt like a prick for saying it that way, the way it came out. Where I'm going with that is I've given my life to the sport and I wouldn't change a thing. And I'm not going to stop anytime soon. But the sport has also absolutely kicked me in the ass many, many times. And
bully.
It's tough. I'll get through it and I'll find, whether it's sorting things out here in Springfield or finding the next thing, I know I'll be fine, but I just got to get through this. And I don't want to, be overly dramatic, but there was a level of grieving to get through it. And I go back to, I think it's more of the overall experience, not just this one singular event. I think it's all of it put together. And I didn't handle it well, especially the first week. Not great the second week. Now we're into week 3 and it's better. I mean, it's not perfect.
I mean, who would handle that well? The thing that the whole thing that my whole argument that I've been pissed off most about is, like, I understand budgets and I understand going over the budgets and stuff like that. And, like, you know, from years prior to this year and stuff, things that you've explained. The thing that pisses me off, and I promise we'll get into the rest of the show.
Yeah.
But the thing that pisses me off the most is they've been looking at it for a while and they knew it, and there was no warning to say, hey, listen, or there's no like, hey, until the end of the semester, you're still good. But by the end of the semester, if this doesn't come in, we have to take away pay.
Like we talked about. Yeah, like you and I talked about the last time, that was never in our mindset. Now, granted, was it in our mindset that, like you said, end of semester, end of the year, this could happen? Sure. 100%. Not at the time, 8 games in.
Yeah, and it's like it's just one of those things where you're there for the team, you're there for the passion. Lord knows that what you were getting paid out of it, you're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this kind of thing. You're there because you love it. You're there for the kids. You and Jeremy collectively brought all these kids to this school, which they desperately need. And at the end of I know that you said the AD and her assistant
I love her to death.
Yeah, they were not happy with it. But the people who ultimately made the decision, their pay wasn't cut, and they didn't give a shit about you guys. They're just like you're not an actual like animate thing to them. They're just a number on a piece of paper, and they're like, oh, well, it's club, we don't care. And that's kind of how it played out, because if they cared at all about the people, because you want to really flip it on its head, they could you and Jeremy could have easily been jerks and been like, good, we'll fold the season up, we'll send everybody back to Canada, and you just lost 30 players. I mean, not that you guys would do it, not that that's how you guys operate, but I'm just saying there could have been a reaction out of it. But you know, it's just, there's better ways to do things. And I understand in business isn't always easy, but there is a thing called business ethics, and there is a way to handle certain things. It sucks because something like you said, like how old were you when you started skating?
I was 3 when I started skating, but as you know, I had an older brother, so I've been in the sport literally since I was born.
I got on skates at 2 years old, and it's like we talked about this. You can't look in our history and remember a time without hockey. I remember periods of not playing or coaching, but I still found my way on the ice, and doing stuff. And it's just like I went and found a totally different avenue that no one saw coming to stay in the game.
Yeah.
And like I worry about it too. I'm like, what if this day ends? Then what do I do in hockey? So that's what I love about doing this show, is we talk about so many different things. And as long as I've been in it, I learn new stuff about sports business, hockey all the time. And it's a valuable thing to be doing these things, and it comes with bumps in the roads, and it sucks. But yeah, so
well, the last two things I want to say on the topic before we get into, and I'll be honest, I have no idea what John wants to talk about tonight. He hasn't told me. He hasn't told me. But the last
I'm intentionally blindsiding him.
I know, which is fine. The last 2 things I want to talk about with regards to this, and they're a little sappy, but they're not. I do want to thank you. You know I love you like a brother, and I'll give you shit all day long. But you're defending what has happened here, even if I'm trying to take the high road. You're definitely not. I'm trying, and I say taking the high road. I truly mean everything I've said with regards to my boss.
I can validate that. We've talked off of here, and he's
even the school president. Because I think at the end of the day, most of these decisions are coming from the top. That guy's great. Like, he's just trying whatever he can. And someone brought this up yesterday when I was at the brewery, because we were filming the coach show at the brewery. By the way, and actually, I'll get into more of this in a minute. Probably the first time in my life I've been at that brewery, didn't have a single beverage. because I just
they're gonna be police knocking on your door for a welfare check.
well, we'll get into that's part two, but in a good way. But someone brought this up that he is now making the decisions that the past administrations probably should have. As much as it might be, it's obviously affecting me. It's affecting a lot of people right now. He's making the hard decisions that probably should have been made a long time ago. And so kudos. He's a really good dude. We've gotten to know him over the last couple of years since he took over before last season. Really good dude. He does love our program, but he's got to do what he can to help the university.
Yeah, now, at the end of the semester.
Well, yeah. Part two of this, in my head, this seems like a small thing, but I know it's not for a lot of people. And I'm thinking of someone like, my buddy Tyler, or trying to remember who the other one was that we had this conversation with about sobriety. I'm not saying I'm sober. I'm clearly drinking a Crown and Coke right now. That's not where I'm going with this. I know from my own family what it looks like, and saying that might upset people. That's not what I'm talking about. What alcohol issues can look like. Obviously, Tyler's a close friend, and we've talked to other people. One thing I will kind of pat myself on the back about that those first week and a half. As soon as I got the news that Monday, it's been 2 Mondays ago now. Well, I guess 3 Mondays ago now, because it's been 2.5 weeks. Past times when I've gotten this kind of shit news, first thing I'm doing, I'm going out, I'm getting shit-faced, I'm going to drink myself to forget all the problems and do all that. I didn't have a drop of alcohol for the first 2 weeks. I needed to just clear my head. I needed to make sure. I was still not in a good headspace. We know that.
Yeah, but alcohol would have been the clouds.
And that's the thing. I wouldn't have been thinking clearly enough to kind of come up. And not that I have a plan. I'm about to say come up with a plan, but I don't have a plan right now. But I'm able to start kicking the tires on some things and start putting ideas together, whether it's coaching side of things, hockey in general, or even things you and I potentially have planned in the future. So yeah, I'm happy I did that. Now I'm back, Crown and Coke, man.
It is part of the show.
And in my Big Sky Brewing from Missoula, Montana glass.
It's definitely Big Sky. It's definitely Montana.
That's my Montana glass. And again, it's a couple of these and I'm good for the evening. But no, I don't want to downplay anybody's struggles on that end, especially with people I know personally. But I did need to have clarity. And even though that clarity involved not being in a good mental space and really kind of shutting down for a bit, and maybe that's what I needed, was just to get away and just be in my thoughts. Some would probably say the other way. But yeah, I stayed away from the booze for a bit, and yeah. And like I said, no plan right now, but there's, definitely kicking the tires on some things. And from a coaching standpoint, from a being in hockey in general standpoint, and from all angles podcast future standpoint.
We got some things that we've been talking about that we're going to send an email out. It's going to be fun. I've already invited other people to it, even though we're not.
I will tell you right now, the Kleins want to come.
So yeah, it's just a cool thing.
I talked to him about it yesterday.
So we'll talk about that when we get to it. But
and by the way, Trish thinks this might be our thing. If we pull this off the first time, this might be our thing.
And honestly, there's no reason it couldn't be.
And it'd be a hell of a lot of fun.
It will, God. Yeah, it definitely would. And I mean, because look at it. We're 31 minutes in. Welcome to the All Angles podcast.
Welcome to All Angles.
Episode 30.
Episode 30.
And
we are, what is that? I'm not a math major. 10 times what?
10 times what the expected quit rate. You ask me about math.
I thought it was 10 times, but I didn't want to make a complete ass of myself, because that
Cookie knows better to not rely.
As I told John, I keep holding this up. This is actually number 3. So that was basic math. I'm very aware, but number 3 is, as you can hear, jingling, almost gone. So yeah,
Basic math for me is still tough.
yeah. Well, it almost. I mean, I'm not a
But
I'm not a dumb
for
person by any means, but it definitely almost kept me from graduating.
when it comes to math, I'm very much a dumb person.
I'm a freaking moron.
But you can hear my voice is still struggling.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the end of the woods here. I'm finally gonna be good soon. I don't know what up with these sicknesses, but I was online and an ad popped up today, and I was like, okay, we're doing this one, and this is part 1 of a 2-part episode. The second part, we will have people with us, but I saw something today, Cookie. It's the end of baseball season. So like Little League and stuff like that's been over for a while. So that means
My Rangers been over for a while.
yeah. And I'm a Yankee fan.
Your Yankees ended, yeah.
They ended. Actually, Aaron Judge was at the Rangers game I shot, which was kind of cool. I didn't
Hey,
get to
it
meet
ain't
him.
his fault.
No, for once. He usually chokes postseason. An ad popped up, and I couldn't believe my eyes. So I saw an ad pop up. Little League baseball bat, aluminum bat.
Oh,
It was an Easton bat. I wrote a bunch of stuff down because we already did some stuff from before, but it was an Easton baseball bat. It was $500. Now, when we were in Little League, see, Cookie and I have talked about this. We're big hockey guys, but we also were both catchers in baseball. It makes sense. We played sports that we needed to wear equipment for. We could talk shit and get a little physical if needed. Not very off the pattern of how we were as hockey players. I could tell you, remember East Bay? Is that still around?
I wish. I don't know if it is. East Bay was great.
East Bay was my favorite magazine. And I remember
Keep talking. I'm going to look this up.
I got my first set of catcher's gear, and I think total for the entire catcher's gear. Now we're talking like the all-star catcher's gear with the ABC helmet. The ABC helmets fit the best. They were form-fitting. They were what the pros wear. And my mask, I think I spent like $350 for the whole thing. And this is when I was in high school and like top grade stuff. Is it gone?
Went defunct in 2023, 2 years ago.
No kidding, man. So East Bay.
It lasted. It was founded in 1980.
East Bay had a little bit of almost all sports.
Everything.
Primarily baseball, though. I mean, it was a big-time baseball thing. I bought my spikes from there, my catcher's gear, my mitts every year I bought from there. And, like, you can get pro-quality stuff. And, like I said, my first full set of catcher's gear that was mine, maybe like $350. That's pretty much on the low end of what kids are spending. And Cookie already knows where I'm going with this. We've talked about this before. I have a deep fear for the future of sports in general because of what's happening at the youth level. We've seen the videos of these kids in like minor league baseball, not AAA minors, like the level below Little League.
Have you seen the picture or video of the? I mean, the kid's got to be 7, 8 years old.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's got in his back pocket. He's got the
sliding mitts, which I think are the dumbest things.
Sliding mitts. He's got like multiple gloves. He's got all the wristbands. He's got
chain.
The chains, yeah. And then he's even got the freaking thumb guard for the at bats. Like,
yeah.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
It's the middle of summer. It's not going to hurt. Even if you get jammed inside, it's not going to hurt on an aluminum bat. But that's the thing. These parents are spending insane amounts of money. And this was just baseball. Here's some numbers I pulled up for baseball and prepare to cry. Now, you can still get, if you're a parent on a budget, you could go to Walmart and buy an aluminum bat for $30. The kid that does well with a $30 bat will be a great baseball player. Yeah. He's gonna be launching nukes in high school.
Yeah.
And and here's just the couple things. Like I said, that bat was $4.99. There's a Louisville Slugger that's $550. The bats look cool. Like they're cool.
I will say this, and I think you'll agree with this, because from the hockey side of it, sticks are $300-$400, whatever they are now. I suspect, especially when you're talking about little leaguers, that $550 bat is going to last a long.
But here's the problem: is these kids are wanting. they're going to grow out of it. And also next year, there's going to be something new and cool.
Yeah.
And they're going to want that. It's not
True.
about quality.
True.
It's about
Because we
what's
did, I
new.
mean, admittedly, we did the same thing, but we also weren't looking at $550 bats.
No, my Easton aluminum hockey stick was $80 and my replacement blades were $12.50 a piece. Guess which blades I used?
Christian?
Nope. They were the Sherwood Coffees.
See, I was special. Helps when your parents own a hockey shop. I had my own Christian pattern.
Well, yeah, see, no. It's funny I used the Sherwood Coffees because I had a rocket of a slap shot. I don't know how I hit the net ever with that curve.
No, that's not a curve built for slap shots.
No, ironically, a defenseman's signature curve, but he was also a pro.
Yeah,
But
he was special.
yeah, but these bats, these kids are gonna want the new things. Like cleats will wear out in a year, sure, especially if you're playing a bunch of games and practices. And mind you, little kids can't wear metal spikes yet. You can't do that until Babe Ruth. And is Babe Ruth still a league?
Oh.
I think so. Until Babe Ruth or basically high school baseball. You can't wear it in JV.
Called it for when I was growing up. We didn't even call it that. It was majors. Even at Little League, they call it Little League majors. When you got to majors, you could start wearing spikes.
Oh, see, for us, it was T-ball, minor league, Little League, Babe Ruth. And I think now it might even, there's even a level called Ripken. But anyway.
No idea.
This stuff wasn't that much money at the time. I mean, cleats were I think cleats roughly are close to the same price. Because cleats I found, they range anywhere from $20 to $150. If you're a Little League kid and your parents spend $150, they're doing you a huge injustice.
I think the most expensive spikes I ever had, my last year of playing true baseball, was my sophomore year in high school before I went to Northwood, who didn't have baseball. I think, and that was when the high tops were coming out. So I did the high top spikes as a catcher, which was really dumb in hindsight. As a catcher, but I loved them. But even those were, high top Nike badass spikes were $50.
Yeah, and that's how much money. I didn't have the high top ones. Had Nike Airs were coming out, so they're a little bit more comfortable because walking around spikes sucks all day.
Yeah.
The Nike Airs are a little bit more comfortable.
I like the sound though.
I love, especially when you're walking on hard stuff concrete. Like tile or concrete.
Oh, like when I first started playing golf and before spikeless golf, the sound of golf spikes on the cart path.
It's a very pleasing sound.
Yeah, there needs to be a YouTube channel that's just that. I would go to sleep to that every night. Oh, so ASMR. I would sleep to the sound of golf or baseball spikes on concrete.
Yep. I loved it. I remember in high school we had those, I don't even know, it was just whatever polished floors, and we would come from the carpet and hit the floors and slide.
I was about to say, that sounds sketchy as hell.
Damn near for eternity until we wiped out, but it was fun.
You shredded the floors.
We didn't care about that, wasn't it? We weren't cleaning them. But gloves. So gloves now are anywhere from $80 to $330. I think a good catcher's mitt for me was around $150. But playing catcher's different. Yeah. I remember one of our pitchers, Kevin Marchetti, we would go to the Knights of Columbus in the winter, and he would train in the winter with the weighted balls, and he would throw those things so hard. I can't tell you how many times he dislocated my thumb. It was terrible.
Yeah, that last year catching, my close friend back then, we were both sophomores at the time. He was the number one pitcher on the team as a sophomore. He was already as a sophomore throwing 85 to 87 easy. So
that's huge numbers in high school.
Yeah. So his dad had connections because his dad not only was a big baseball guy back home, but he also he had one of the first kind of sports shops that wasn't, remember Oshman's and all that. He had a sport. Yeah, maybe I was just down where I was.
We had one, ironically enough, we had a sports store called Klein's.
Oh, there you go. Actually, that sounds familiar. No, Harry was my buddy. His dad had a sports shop, primarily baseball, because they were a baseball family. But he used his connections, and I actually got a glove it wasn't directly from him, but it was the same design that Pudge Rodriguez had.
Oh, nice.
I had a Pudge glove just so I didn't break my hand every time Terry was launching
Pudge was a
fastball.
mutant of a catcher.
Oh yeah, he's an absolute unit.
He was unbelievable. Yeah. But you know, and then getting into the rest of the gear here, like I said, 80 to 330 bucks for a glove. An $80 glove, you could play outfield, a little bit of infield. You do if the leagues are better, but we're talking little league here. Like I keep drifting off into like high school stuff.
Yeah,
Little
yeah,
league here.
yeah.
Unless you're on one of these teams that's going to the Little League World Series, like this is most of this stuff is unnecessary. So then I was like, man, football. I don't know. I don't think a lot of leagues are providing equipment for football anymore. Now, anybody playing these sports can go to Play It Again Sports, buy something used, especially for kids growing up. Like Cookie said, they're going to grow out of it.
Sideline swap.
Yeah, they're gonna grow out of it. They're going to abuse it. And honestly, when you're a kid, used gear is going to be better, and for a lot of it. And parents are like, no, he's got to have the new and best in the bet. Yeah, I didn't know how much football helmets were. Football helmets are actually not as expensive as I thought. Like I think the most expensive one for.
But if there's a piece of equipment you want to spend a little more money on, that's gonna be it.
Yeah, I mean, if I would get the Guardians if you're a kid now. But I mean, the most expensive helmet I found, I only did a quick search, was like 190 bucks. I mean, hockey helmets are around then.
I mean, well, top line hockey helmets are considerably more than that.
Yeah. So, and again, youth
we
sports.
spend over $200 on a helmet.
Yeah, for college kids.
And that's yeah, we're getting like a bulk
a team deal.
Yeah, and we're still spending more than that.
Yep. Cleats are about the same, 40 to 100 bucks. Shoulder pads are about 160 bucks.
I'm saying we're spending more than that as a college team on a deal, and that's just the helmet, no cage or bubble. Just the helmet. Yeah. So you're adding a cage that's 30 bucks or a bubble that's 60 bucks.
Yeah, I was about to say the bubbles are always more, and you have to do a couple of them a year. Pants are about 40 bucks, and then you got to buy the pads to go in the pants. It's about another 20 bucks. And then I was like, oh, soccer and basketball are probably safe sports because there's not a lot of equipment.
Soccer's expensive.
So the equipment for soccer, not
minimal,
so bad.
But yeah.
But the thing is, I didn't know this. So for soccer, I wrote it really small. If you're going to play in just like your general, like AYSO, you're looking at 100 to 600 bucks a season. They have a mid-level, which is about $500 to $2,000 a season. And if you're going to play on one of these elite teams, this is like hockey, $2,000 to $10,000 to play in these elite leagues. And it's funny because like I was like, oh well, basketball and soccer are sports that you have worldwide domination in because you can just go out in the street and play with all the same equipment. You have a hoop, a ball, and sneakers, you're good to go. Or a net, a ball, and sneakers. It's the expenses of sports are getting so far out of hand. Baseball leagues, I think for a baseball league, you're paying $500-600 a year now. Again, for a little league. Football, I think, is around $350. I don't really know about that one. Hockey stuff, we've already talked about hockey. Cookie, just for fun, give us a breakdown on hockey gear, helmet, gloves, sticks, pants, skates, and let's not even like shin pads, elbow pads, shoulder pads.
I won't get into where these numbers are coming from. These are our team numbers that we get from our supplier. And I'm not going to say who it is. That's not what I was looking for. Well, it still works. I'll use it. It's a year old, but it still works. And again, I'm not going to get into who it is, but these are team pricing. This isn't even like retail. So this is team pricing. Just for this doesn't even include shoulder pads, shin pads. This is just kind of the visible stuff. Pair of gloves. Anywhere from, and again, this isn't going to sound bad, but again, this is team pricing, not retail. Anywhere from 100 to 125 bucks. Not horrible. Those at retail, you can probably add 150 to 200 bucks is my guess.
Add that or
no, not add that.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I said that wrong. this is mind numbing to me. We did not do this. This is a team pricing helmet that's on this list I have from this company, and $40. That's the highest. Most are, well, those are the visors. They're $100 to $340 for team pricing.
Crazy.
Pants, 115 to 210. Again, retail, you're looking at 185 to probably 250, 275.
I think they were around. I had Tackla's, top of the line Tackla's. I think they were around $125 at the time. That was top of the line.
And this is, by the way, just one brand too. I'm not even, I mean, this is just one of the brands.
See, for hockey, CCM and Bauer would be your top, most expensive ones, and Warrior and True.
Yeah, that was Bauer. CCM, they've got a $320 helmet as well at team pricing. They've got $130 pants at team pricing. A couple of them, actually. It says custom, or those are gloves, sorry. Gloves. Pants, yeah, pants, $155. They say custom. They are, but they aren't. Yeah, so that's just, what, 3 items I talked about. Pants, gloves, helmet. You're already at, what's close to $600 probably?
And this is team. This is team.
And
this is not
pricing.
Yeah.
That's not retail. And again, that's just helmet, gloves, pants. That doesn't, and the helmet doesn't include, as we said earlier, the cage or the bubble. Cage is going to be about 30, 35 bucks. Bubbles, 50, 60 bucks, whatever it is these days.
For non-hockey people, the bubble is just like a clear plastic thing you wear. Very popular in college. I actually preferred them.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan, but I did wear them for a bit. Depends on where you are, because, well, these days it's way better than we were. They used to always fog up for us. These days they've made them, the material is better. It doesn't fog up.
Up north, it wasn't bad. It was cold enough where we didn't have that issue.
We're talking about 3 pieces of equipment. When a hockey player needs, I've never done this before, so I'm going to do it live as we're talking. Okay, helmet.
I'm pulling up my calculator.
I might even miss something here as to what you need. Let me start from the bottom up. Skates. By the way, I'm not even including Gitch. Skates, by the way, you're talking easily $1,000. Easily.
And that's a minimum.
$1,000.
So we got $1,000 for skates. If you end up in a higher league where you've been skating a lot, I'm Cookie, I know you had to do this. You have to get your skates baked or molded.
I never
your
baked
foot.
in my life.
Oh, I had to. My feet were a mess.
That wasn't a thing when I grew up.
I mean, you would think,
Here's the thing too. When I grew up, there is a slight advantage to $1,000 pair of skates right now is compared to what I had when the skates were, I mean, still expensive, $300-$400,
$400 or $500. Yeah.
I had during my high level career, I had 2 to 3 pairs of skates at a time, because back then, compared to now, you couldn't just swap out the steel between periods. If you lost an edge, you had to just switch skates, or if you had enough time between periods, get a quick sharpening on them. Now they can just swap out the steel. We have this really nice, well, 2 of them, steel holder bags that we put on our bench. I mean, every
blades didn't break nearly as much as they do now either.
No, but okay, so skates, we're already $1,000. I'm not going to try and add it all up, because I don't know. I haven't had to buy equipment in a very long time, other than the basics we provide for our players.
Well, here's the thing: shin pads are around $150.
That's what I do. Skates, shin pads, pants, jock.
What'd you say pants were?
210,
200?
Well, retail probably close to 250, 260.
Let's go on the low end of everything too, so everybody knows it's going to be more expensive.
Let's just say it even 200 for a top of the line good pair of pants.
A jock. I mean, if you're wearing like the shock jock where you have it in the shorts, you're looking at like $20, $25 on the low end.
Oh, they're more than that.
Real? I don't remember being one.
Definitely. Well, yeah.
But that's for a regular jock. I mean, I guess a regular jock's.
No, I'm talking about like because most guys wear those now with the Velcro and all that. They're way more. Those things are like $40, $30, $40.
Okay, so let's say $40.
Then you've got
pants.
Yeah, shoulder pads, elbow pads.
Shoulder pads are about. I mean, it depends. The range on those.
Don't even know.
I mean,
by the way, side note, Sherwood's bringing those badass old school shoulder pads back.
Love those.
I don't even play anymore, and I want a pair.
When I was playing men's league, we were playing in leagues where there's a bunch of tryhards, and I wasn't wearing shoulder pads. We had them. I ended up finding they were like $40, and I
The
ended
other
up
ones
finding
I
a pair
missed,
of
what were
those.
the ones that were like the little squares? You know what I'm talking about? There's just,
Oh yeah.
those are the coolest. I wanted a pair of those so bad.
You know what I did start wearing in men's league is I went and got myself a lacrosse shirt, and it had padding here, and then just on the chest because I don't want to take a slap shot to the chest. But hold
But
on.
anyways, yeah, so we've got the
Shoulder pads.
skates, shoulder pads, or skates, shin pads, pants, jock, shoulder pads, elbow pads, gloves,
Shoulder pads.
helmet.
$189.
By the time we're all said and done, I was just counting the number of items, and it's like at least 10. And we haven't even gotten to sticks yet.
Elbow pads are, I'm going to say, around 100, 120. Oh, I lost everything anyway. Gosh darn this stupid thing. Sorry, everybody.
I mean, it's easily, let's just go easy and say $2,000 worth of equipment.
Yeah.
Because the skates, again, are at, I won't say the low end, because you can still get a pair of cheap ass skates for less than $1,000, but
But you're
are
still
cheap
$500-600.
Yeah. But you're still looking at, $1,500 to $2,000 worth of equipment, and could go more very easily.
And here's where it goes
and
more.
You haven't even bought a stick yet.
Yeah. And here's where it goes more too for that equipment. I joked about having to buy a couple bubbles a year. When you get up, especially you get up in playing juniors or high school, you're gonna get hit from behind. Those things scuff up, and I don't care what anybody says the tricks are. It still messes up your visor, your bubble on there, and so you're spending. I went through 3 or 4 of those a year.
Yeah, I will say, because obviously a ton of our guys wear those. The material is really good these days.
Yeah.
It's really good. Scuffs are harder to happen to begin with. And they do actually, unless it's just an actual gouge, a lot of those scuffs actually come out better than when we were playing.
Mine was the old ITAC. It was made by ITAC back then.
Yeah, we wear CCM helmets, so we have the CCM bubbles. The material is really, really good. I will give.
I've never had one actually break, thankfully.
No, me either.
But I've been rocked from behind by this guy. Twice in one game. This guy hit me from behind so bad, and I just had a gouge or a gash right across the front of that thing. And
but yeah, like we said,
made me afraid to get hit.
Yeah, like you said, you're easily, and it could be way worse, but just kind of at bare minimum, $1,500, $2,000 worth of equipment.
I mean, half of that's on your feet.
Yeah, and
by the way,
you haven't even bought.
Correct me if I'm wrong. When you buy skates, you have to buy the steel separate now.
Depends on the manufacturer. Depends on the manufacturer. I learned that for the first time this year, by the way, because that's very new, like within the last year thing. But so you've already spent all this money. You haven't even bought a stick yet, and the sticks, we can get team stock. Well, we can't anymore, but we could get team stock sticks for $120 or whatever, but there's no warranty on them. And that's actually, you might, and I suspect we go back to the conversation about the Little League bats. I suspect they all have warranties on them. You break one.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But when we get the team pricing on sticks, it's great and all. We're getting sticks for literally a third to a quarter of the price of a retail stick, but there's no warranty. And when we're playing at our level, sticks break all the time. So you're not getting.
Watch the NHL game if you're not a fan. You're not
getting anything for that money, because that stick. We had one guy last year who broke 4 sticks in the first week of practice. And if they all had warranties on them, okay, we just send them back. We're getting 4 more sticks. Well, that's now, because they're $120 a piece. That's $480 worth of sticks gone. Retail sticks are, for a stick you would want, and I'm not even saying a highest quality stick, but a stick you would want reasonable, $275, $300 and higher. And as I said, our game on, I don't remember if it was our game Friday or Saturday this past weekend, one of our forwards, blocked a shot with a stick. He went out to block it, actually hit a stick and snapped it in half. He came back to the bench just laughing. I said, "Yeah, that was the best $300 shot block I've seen in a long time."
It's crazy.
I've said for years, this isn't a new thing. I've said for 20 plus years, it's out of control.
This is why I say, like, when I say I'm worried about the future of the sport, the talent is not the problem. I'm worried about there being a point where parents are just like, screw this.
Well, I go back to, we were laughing earlier today because I messaged you. The New Heights podcast came out today with Keanu Reeves, the Kelsey brothers with Keanu Reeves. And we love the New Heights podcast. We've talked about them on here before. We
Not
love
just because of Taylor Swift.
Not just because their podcast is a lot of, I would love to have their success, obviously. And they had benefits going into it that we will never have, but
like being professional athletes and famous ones.
Yeah, exactly. Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
They had Keanu Reeves on. Today was the premiere, so I was listening to it while I was out doing deliveries, and went into, I don't remember how long the actual podcast was, but a big chunk of it in the middle was about, Keanu Reeves' hockey career growing up in Canada. And, how he was actually, I learned a lot. I knew he had played, obviously. He was a pretty decent player, though. He had, some junior A tryout. He had actually a major junior tryout.
He was actually a goalie too, right?
He was actually a goalie. Yeah, he brought that up. But we talk about, and the only reason I even bring this up is because I was very disappointed Youngblood never came up.
Which is crazy. That's so Youngblood is
all these
probably
other
me and
movies.
Cookie's favorite hockey movie.
Oh, without question. Talk about all these other movies he did, including dumbass movies like The Replacements, that of course the Kelsey brothers are going to love because it was a football movie.
Jane Falco, baby.
Jane Falco. But they never brought up Youngblood. And the Kelsey brothers grew up playing hockey as well. That's why this all started. Like, they were hockey guys.
Jason just jumped into a beer league game. He went and bought equipment at Dick's.
So he talked about it. So the story behind that kind of go off.
That was this episode where he talked about it. So I saw the short from it.
So to go off on a tangent, he did talk about that with Keanu, saying how they were down in Florida because he was down in Florida for his ESPN duties or whoever, for whatever football game they were covering. And he wanted to go to a sports bar. He and some of the other, I guess, ESPN, whoever he was with, wanted to go watch football games, and the sports bar they ended up at was in a rink.
Yeah.
And these guys were like, "Hey," because there's a ton of beer leagues going on. The guy's like, "Hey, you want to come play?" He's like, "Sure." But he ended up in rental skates.
Yeah.
He had all this new gear on. You could tell it was like brand new gear, but he had rental skates, and he could not stand up. He was like Bambi on ice.
He was also many beers in, he said, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a few beers in, yeah, for sure. But I only bring up the Keanu Reeves thing with them only because I do like talking about their podcast. It's great. But
he's in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Sorry.
So the quote that I'm thinking about when it comes to what we're discussing that no longer applies is one of the best quotes in the movie, and it no longer applies for a lot of reasons. Was they're in the bar after tea with Miss McGill. They're all getting shit-faced.
That's the other quote, but go on.
And they do a big toast. Thank God there's still a sport for middle-sized white boys.
Yeah.
I look at it as middle-class white boys. You're not. Middle-class people can't afford to play hockey anymore.
Nope. I mean, that's the thing is, like, these kids, there's always a saying, like, you're going to go back to the farm. That's why they call it the farm leagues. Like, these kids grew up on farms playing, flooding their barns, flooding their ponds.
Honestly, we have quite a few guys on our team here that are farm boys, like legitimate farm boys.
Well, even Jeremy's tattoo, like it's a flooded lake. I mean, a flooded lake. That's redundant. It's a pond or a lake right off, like on a farm property
with a silo in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's how it is up there. And like you always hear like go back to the farm, rookie, and stuff like that. And like, and by the way, for those people that want to go see Youngblood, Rob Lowe, Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze, who's the coach? The coach is a famous guy too.
I'll just while you're talking, I'll pull up because
But
I
it's basically,
one of my first ever crushes too.
oh my God, yeah, 100%. Basically, like, you hear us talk about juniors. It's a 16 to 20-year-old league. There's the major junior level.
Because right
You
now as
can't
we're
see it on your
recording this,
screen.
well, right now as we're recording this, we're getting the split screen, but it might switch to me if I keep talking, talk. Youngblood poster right there. Anyways,
Yep.
I don't know
But
how that works. I'm just being a complete jackass.
and back then, the best road to professional hockey was through major juniors.
Cynthia Gibb.
Oh yes, Cynthia Gibb. But the greatest, the quickest, not quickest, sorry, the best road to the NHL was through major juniors. The Hamilton Mustangs and there's the Thunder Bay. What were they? The Thunder Bay Bombers in the movie. And that's what I told you. The guy who played Carl Racky, his real name is George Finn. Spent a little bit of time with Quebec, coached youth hockey at my youth hockey where I was playing youth hockey. And it's the whole juniors thing. It was the way. And Rob Lowe came in as like this. He came in like to try and get signed like right before the playoffs. That's the only weird part. Maybe they didn't have roster freeze dates, but came in and Patrick Swayze was the captain of the team. And it's probably the truest like translation of junior hockey.
Yeah, especially
In a
back
film.
then. Especially back then. So the coach, Murray, who you're talking about, probably his most important role he ever did. And I know I'm glowing again because I have my other screen up.
He's an angel.
His name's Ed Lauder in real life.
That's right.
But what he's probably most known for, other than from us hockey people, is he was the prison warden in The Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds, the original Longest Yard.
That's right.
He wasn't the warden. Sorry, he was
He played.
He was like the head guard,
the head security guard.
Guard. Yeah. But he was in Cujo. Like I'm looking at his. Oh my God, he was in Gleaming the Cube.
Really?
He was in Gleaming the Cube. Oh my God. He was in Real Genius. That's right. He was in Real Genius.
Was he the dad?
No, he was oh my God, what was he in Real Genius? I'm loving this. Revenge of the Nerds 2. Yes, Revenge of the Nerds. He was the oh my God. This is gonna make me nuts.
Welcome to the All Tangents.
Yes, we're in it.
We're back, baby.
My Blue Heaven. One of the most underrated movies ever, My Blue Heaven.
Steve Martin, right?
Yeah, and Martin Short. Oh.
By the way, you see Martin Short's coming back just for Spaceballs?
I did. Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. That's really cool. Anyways, I'm not going to go too much further in this, but it was a great cast, as you said. It was the
movie's awesome. It's such a cool movie.
It really is. Yeah.
Actually, I would love for non-hockey people to watch it. Like, it's easy for us to love it.
You know who? Remember Rossini? Who was Rossini? Do you remember who it was?
Mm-mm.
Remember when Murray benched Youngblood because he was dating his daughter? Rossini take Youngblood?
Yeah.
Who Rossini? Peter Zezel.
Really?
Yeah, Peter Zezel.
That's awesome.
And no one else watching this is going to know who the fuck that is. Peter Zezel had a long hockey career. And
That's one of those movies that they had all hockey players in, which they hadn't done again until Miracle.
Yeah.
But
I'm just looking at this cast list, just like, wow, this is really cool.
So while Cookie's looking at this treasure chest of cast on Youngblood there, it's crazy he didn't talk about it. And, we got over there.
By the way, sorry, interrupt. This is important. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, Miss McGill is still alive.
Really? Nothing beats tea with Miss McGill.
She's 83 years old. She was actually born in Dublin, Ireland. She's Irish.
I think I knew that. That part I think I knew. But
that was still active, like years active. It says she's still active, like she's still doing stuff.
And then remember, it was Lucky having tea with Miss McGill, and then Keanu Reeves. I had tea with Miss McGill last night.
That man,
um,
he's fucking an animal.
animal. Yeah, his accent and that was something else.
So
But
bad. He was French
even
Canadian
for
in
a
that.
Canadian,
He was French Canadian in that.
yeah.
He's from Toronto, the Toronto area.
Which also makes no sense because he would have played in the Q. The O didn't have a lot of French Canadians. It was
Hey,
all the Q.
don't take away the beauty of
That's
Youngblood
right.
by
I shouldn't
trying to
be. I
bring
shouldn't be saying that
facts.
bad.
Don't bring
But
facts into Youngblood.
sorry, there I go ruining everything again.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's one of those movies where it's just like it's just so good. And we veered so far off the cost things. But Cookie was making a good point
I was trying to,
because
anyways.
well, that's the thing is like first of all, hockey's never been for poor people or people in poverty because it's always had a cost, a pretty. There's just too much to it,
Well,
and
I
the
was
operating cost to play hockey alone is through the roof.
true. I will say for sure in this country.
Yeah, yeah.
Canada, not so much because they were able to keep costs down in Canada, not just because of the winters and do all that, but like you could go back in the day to Canadian Tire and buy skates and sticks and all that stuff
hmm
for next to nothing.
Yep. I mean, well, CCM
You
is
spend $25 on a stick back then.
yeah, yeah. Well, the wooden sticks, especially. Keep in mind what CCM is. It started as a bike company, Canadian Cycle and Motors, or something like that.
Something like that,
Um, but now it's becoming a sport for the rich, and it's unfortunate. Now, granted, the NHL,
I wouldn't say becoming. I think it has been
yeah,
there for a while.
but I will say the NHL is doing a great job to get kids involved in the first place with their try hockey for free days. Um, I had a shoot with the Capitals the other day where they had players walk around to each station and get sized up for their equipment, and they paid a league fee, which wasn't that much. It was like I think under $500, but then they got all their equipment, so they got sized for everything, and then they ordered their
We-
equipment and went and
Yeah,
got
we
it.
have something similar to that here that is a thing put on by the St. Louis Blues. We're 3 hours away from St. Louis, but we still participate in their Little Blues program um, and things like that. Granted, Missouri State kind of handles the Little Blues stuff. We do something that, and this was at the rink's request. We do something a little different, and primarily it's our Division III team that does it, just because of scheduling. They do a little Panthers thing, but yeah, and it's great. And I understand where you're going with this, and I completely agree. It's awesome. You're getting people excited and interested in it until the
But
point
the sustainability,
they have to. Yeah, it's then you're suiting a 5, 6 year old kid up for free to go play, and then it's just a matter of a few years later, then the big bill comes,
yeah, and
and the
it's
bill just
it's
grows and grows and
Mhm.
grows.
And again, hockey's definitely the most expensive. We talk most about that, but I mean, when you're looking at this baseball kid, and we'll put him up on the screen, it's ridiculous. And parents are a lot to blame because a lot of these parents
Can't say
are
no.
just, huh?
They can't say no.
Well, they can't say no, and then you get these douchebag dads where they're like, "Well, I didn't make it, so my son's gonna make it," and they're just trying to live vicariously through their kid.
And I will say
And
this. Let me say this too. I'm notorious for cutting you off, but obviously we are two guys that don't have kids of our own, but we're also two
we
guys
know
that
of.
are fairly certain. Um, I am also we are also two guys that have coached youth hockey. Well, while we not may not be now, we coached youth hockey for years, so we've seen it firsthand from that side of it. So we know, you know, just to add our kind of a level of expertise in this, if you will. And I come from a family who owns a hockey shop, so
And that's why we're
I
harping
appreciate
on
that.
hockey so much. Like we went
Yeah.
over the other sports numbers, which you know what? I mean, to a lot of families out there, if they want to play soccer or basketball, those $60 shoes, that's a tough buy for a lot of families out there.
And
And
unfortunately, like you said, a lot of these people aren't realistic about, Dr. JJ brought this up too when we had her on, but these a lot, not all, obviously, and I won't even say a majority because that's not fair, but a lot of these families are so unrealistic about an 8-year-old kid thinking they're going to the NHL, so they got to get all this shit. Let the kid buy the, you don't have to buy the bare minimum crap so they're getting picked on, but buy just the mediocre stuff that's still really quality stuff. Let them go have fun with their buddies. Keep them safe. Let them go have fun with their friends. They're not going to Major League Baseball. They're not going to the NHL. They're not going to the NFL. If you get to the point where it looks like that might be happening, then obviously things are changing and you can figure that out. But you're not figuring that out till they're in high school anyway. So let's slow the roll here.
I think I kind of said it on that episode too, and let me know your input. But I feel like from whenever a kid starts the sport up until they're 14 or 15-year-old, that's a time for development, develop their skills, get better, have fun, keep the sport fun. The most important thing, keep the sport fun.
Bodies are still developing, for crying out loud.
When they reach 14, 15, 16 years old, if they're like, hey, I want to start taking this seriously. Now, granted, if you get a kid who stands out in the crowd, if you get like we'll go again hockey, Connor Bedard, Sidney Crosby, when they're 14, 15, you're going to be like, okay, this is a different kind of kid. Yeah. This isn't for those kids. Those are exceptional talents. But when you're talking about a kid who's like 15, 16, it's like, hey, I want to go play college or I want to go to major juniors. Let them then focus on it. Put in the energy for it. But we've said this, both of us have said this 1,000 times. Play many sports. Yeah. I played hockey. I played baseball. I played football. I played football to get in shape for hockey season. I did 3 games of youth basketball. I was awful. And then I water skied. I snow skied. I was doing something all the time. I've said it a million times. I was never a skilled player, but I was still good. And I was a tough kid. And it's because I did so much. My body became strong without touching weights because that's not what I was doing. I was just a strong athlete back then. And my hand-eye coordination was outstanding. My balance was great because I did everything. And it had nothing to do with my equipment. I had Bauer 3000s. I could squeeze my boot on my skate.
All of us could back then. These days, I could jump on a freaking pair of skates and they're not budging.
And they weigh a quarter of the weight.
And I've seen Dr. JJ post stuff on Instagram about this. And I know when I grew up, Grant, I'll say this, wasn't the smartest thing we ever did, but there was a purpose behind it. My brother and I used to go, we would do it when we would practice occasionally, but only until we got yelled at for doing it. But if we went to like a public session just to go screw around, because we lived in the rink. I mean,
you mean like public skating or like shinny?
Public skating. Okay. There wasn't like drop-ins and sticking pucks back in those days.
That's true. There really wasn't.
No. So we would go to a public skate just because we lived at the rink. We needed something to do. So we'd go get on a public skating. We wouldn't tie our skates at all. Completely loose.
I remember you used to go out for practice like that, and I would blow my mind.
No, it is dumb. I mean, in hindsight, but there was a purpose behind it, even though I didn't know the purpose of that. I was just copying what he was doing.
Cookie coached like that sometimes.
But it was building up strength in your ankles, all the muscles, tendons, ligaments, whatever. And again, Dr. JJ can explain this way better than I can, but there was a purpose behind it, because especially back then with the way the skates were. But I still think, and I know she does as well, it's incredibly important now, even as maybe even more so now, frankly, with how concrete these boots are, to have a strong base so you're not relying. I still don't tie the top 2 eyelets of my skates because I want that flexion.
I don't do the top 1, but yeah.
I don't do the top 2 because I need that flexion to be able to have.
I stopped doing it because I used to get such bad lace bite.
Oh yeah.
And my thing, so I stopped doing the top. I stopped doing the top 2 for a while, and now I don't do the top 1. So it's funny. Yeah, I mean, she knows which one. I actually, we keep talking about trying to do some of her like videos for her training and stuff like that, and just schedules never match up. But yeah, it's a different thing, and the strength of it's very important. But at the same time, you don't need like these new skates, these new Bauers and stuff that came out. They're sick. They look so cool.
They look great, but they're concrete blocks.
Yeah, but
like when you're light as all can be, but the actual feel of them is concrete blocks.
But younger kids don't need those. When you're at a level where that kind of performance in your equipment is needed. Huh?
In fact, it hurts them because that they're still in that development of their physical body. They need to be able to, I'm not at, and I don't know where JJ falls in this. I've never been a big advocate, and I see kids in a weight room. Like, kids don't need to be in a fucking weight room.
Nah, I think that should be a starting point when they're again like 13, 14 years old, and even then,
But
very specific kind of training.
You're going to build the strength and flexibility, and you're talking about a guy who doesn't have any flexibility at 49 years old anymore. I'm a fat piece.
You know how hard it is to tie my shoes these days?
I get laughed at, and it doesn't happen now. Again, not to get into the morbid side of my career at the moment, but would get laughed at by Jeremy and our amazing trainer, Sarah, for them watching me try and tie my skates. And I would literally be on the verge of passing out. Like my face would be beet red of me just leaning over to try and tie my skate. So these days,
what I did my whole life, what I did is I would tie my skates before I put on my hockey pants.
I did that. Yeah, I always did that.
I did that when I was in shape, so when I got fat, it wasn't weird.
I did that anyways. I'm talking about tying my skates when I'm just wearing a pair of tracksuit pants.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not these days, definitely not the poster child for the after picture on the before picture, but the very, very before picture. But I think development of in any sport of the child from a mental side of it, mental health side of it, but it's definitely for the physical side of it. I mean, let them go run around barefoot and
Well, it's like I said when we kind of kicked this off, we were talking about the baseball bats. It's like I had this green Easton. I don't even remember what bat it was. It was a silver bat with green
lettering. That's
green lettering.
The ultimate bat ever made.
And let me tell you, I was a great hitter.
Still to this day, it is considered the ultimate bat.
We need the Bat Bros on here to tell us about it. But,
they talk about that bat.
Do they still? That's amazing.
People still talk about that particular bat, the green lettered. I don't remember. I mean, there was a model number that everybody knows. I don't know it, but that.
Yeah, I don't know that.
I know it. Anybody who played baseball at that time knows exactly what bat you're talking about.
And you could see it clear as day right now in your head. But
100%. The green lettering, Easton, real big.
Yep.
The greatest bat ever made.
And that's the thing is it didn't have extra pop or anything on it. Like these new bats now, these kids are hitting just bombs because it's the bat. You get solid bat on ball, those balls gone. But back then, I mean, it was still 32 ounces, 32, or 34, I think I was using like a 33-30 because I'm short.
I used a pretty long bat.
You're probably using a 34. But still, like this bat was, I mean, you look back, it was a dead bat.
Until you dented enough that it flattened that one side out.
But not to mention the ping when you hit the ball, that noise will never leave me.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And that's coming from a guy that would listen to a wood bat. Kind of like we were talking about earlier with the metal spikes on concrete. I could listen to a wood bat crack all day long.
When I was playing Legion ball, I would use a wooden bat because our right field porch was only like 230, but we had like a 20-foot fence because there's a creek back there. And I can't tell you how many times I'd hit the top 5 feet of the fence. We're using a wooden bat. My team would get so mad at me.
The last time I ever played any kind of competitive baseball, and I'm not referring to like legit league, like in high school. I went back and played like some random adult league with my stepdad's sister's boyfriend at the time.
Was this in Texas?
Yeah.
It was definitely good.
It wasn't that great, but I was catching then. And I was too old to be catching double headers in 100-degree weather, but I was the only one in the whole league that was using wooden bats.
I love wooden bats.
They thought I was being like a smart ass, like, oh, this guy thinks he played pro. I was like, no, I just really like the sound. If I connect with it, it's gonna sound really cool.
Oh, that crack.
It sounds awesome. At that point I was not that great, but if I could connect, it's gonna sound badass.
I tell you what, you want good therapy, go to Dick's Sporting Goods and buy a $30 to $40 Louisville Slugger. They have them there, and go to the batting cages.
Do they even let you do that at batting cages though? I don't think they do.
Bats? Yeah. I used to bring my wooden. I mean, It's a 13-year-old
It's
kid
not,
taking.
but it's not going to sound as good because they're using those weird rubber balls,
Yeah, but it's still
and they're heavier. I'm fairly certain.
those balls.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, those wooden bats are also heavier because they're not
I
like
know
the
those
pro stuff.
stupid rubber balls are heavier and they hurt like hell.
Oh, if you get jammed up on those, and let me tell you, those rubber balls going through the pitching machines, nothing. No one is safe. Wear a helmet.
No, there's no clue where they're going.
No, that's. I mean, honestly, you become a really good hitter if you can.
That brings up back to a past experience. Happy Gilmore, that was bullshit. He got hit directly in the chest every time. There's no way that was a real pitching machine.
Hell no, or it was going 30 miles an hour.
They would have been over here, all over here.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. The accuracy
They
alone.
hit
Yeah.
him right in the chest every time.
Dead center.
Bullshit. Calling
they really
bullshit
killed
right now.
No, there was a guy standing 3
Adam
feet
Sandler,
away from him.
come on our show and defend yourself. Come on our show.
Yeah, can you imagine if he was like, no, it's a real pitching machine, and he shows like his broken sternum?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, fellas, see you later. But yeah, it's like I said, I worry about the future of the sports because of these costs, because parents are going to get fed up with it, even though they're the root of the problem. And it's very easy to sit here and throw stones from a non-kidless glass house. But
again, you've been on the other side of it.
yeah. And I mean, I think I told you a story. When I moved to Connecticut and I was doing private lessons, the first thing they said to me was, don't charge less than $150. They didn't care about my resume. They if I charged more, then they would take me seriously. It's the same problem here at a rink. They have a rink here called the St. James, which is just like Chelsea Piers. And the other thing was, a guy came up to me. He's like, yeah, he goes, I really want my kid to get a scholarship for Division I hockey. And I kind of chuckled. And I was like,
how old was the kid?
Well, that's where it goes. I kind of chuckled and I was like, yeah, if everything in life was that guaranteed. And he goes, I'm dead serious. I'm like, well, how old is your kid? He goes, 10. And I go, I have great news for you. I go, he might get a scholarship and something totally different. Because if you're riding him this hard right now, he's going to hate the sport in 3 years. It's like, and he goes, oh, so you're saying you can't do it? And I'm saying there's not a person on this planet that can guarantee that'll happen. However, quick tangent. Did you see Penn State's got to commit? He's a defenseman at 7'1".
He's still growing. That was the post today. He wasn't 7'1" like a month ago. He's still growing.
He's like what, 16? Or is he 17 now?
That part I missed, but that was the whole point of the post I saw earlier today, is that he has grown. He's grown again. He's gonna. I mean, you want to talk about expensive gear? He's gonna have to have custom shit built.
Everything's gonna be custom. He might be able to wear 15s for gloves.
No, he's gonna have like that much wrist showing at least.
Do you remember?
That's a perfect spot to.
Do you remember the old Easton Airs? That was like the first cuffless.
Yeah.
Cuffless glove. It'll be like those. But
well,
yeah, man.
Where you could flip up too, and you. That wasn't. It wasn't designed to do that, but we all did it.
You talking about the pad on the inside of the glove?
Yeah.
I cut mine out.
Oh, I did too. Yeah, I did too. Because I had those.
How many people did you know used to cut open the palms of their hands and just use their bare hand in there?
That I didn't. No, I never knew anybody that did that.
I hated that.
I had those Eastons when I was at Northwood, and I cut that pad out because I don't like tight gloves. I need loose. I
don't like them either. I had in high school and juniors, remember the bubbly Coopers?
Oh, those were the best. They had those were the line that
it went all the way down, and then like it was
up one finger. I think it was the ring finger, and then it curved.
Yeah,
I had those for a while too.
Bubbly.
Yeah, I had those for a little while too.
I love those. I love those gloves.
Everybody had those, and the Cooper helmet.
It back then it was either the Coopers, the Cooper helmet with the wings. It was either
up and back.
My good buddy Nick Weaver. One of my best friends in high school, Nick Weaver, I think I told you about. He's the guy who died in a plane crash in Cleveland, I think, doing a surveillance. He was at a real estate company and they were surveying an area. Anyway, he had that. He had the all red helmet with blue wings on it. Like it was a total customizable.
Oh yeah, we used to swap out. A couple of us would get like blue helmets, one would get white, and we'd swap them out at Northwood. And then we just gave up on that and went straight white. So yeah.
Yeah, I ended up going to the CCM helmet because that CCM helmet weighed half
Oh, that old
of what
school CCM helmet's one of the best. The old school CCM helmet and the Bauer 4500 are the best helmets ever.
I still love the Bauer 40. However, I got a helmet from the team when I used to be able to go in the crash box to take pictures, and they gave me one of Nikki Backstrom's Warrior helmets.
I like how
And let me tell you,
you feel like you're so cool calling him Nicky.
Nikki, they gave me one of his. Let me tell you, I've never had a helmet fit so perfectly, and also be really light and comfy. It was nice. Yeah, me and Nikki. I'm so stupid, but
Nicholas.
Nick. It's not even Nicholas. It's just Nicholas.
Yeah, it's Nicholas.
But yeah, and you know what the funny part is? I pulled up a stat on here. Who, you might know this already? Who do you think uses the most sticks in an NHL season?
Ooh, that's a good one. You know what?
If this was live, I'd be telling everybody, lock in your answers.
That's a good one. I actually don't know.
So Nathan McKinnon
Yeah,
uses the most sticks
I would not have
in a
guessed.
season.
I would not have guessed that.
Part 2 of this. Guess how many sticks?
Well, he's probably going through at least one a game, probably more than that. So that's 82 games plus practice. You know, they don't practice a lot these days.
They practice. They only have like 1.5 days off a week, actually.
Yeah. 150.
400 sticks he uses.
So he's going through one a period.
Basically, I mean, they do skate,
I mean,
like
not
game
quite,
day. They have skates. I mean, they're basically on the ice twice in a game day. They do have their practices. They're not long. They're like an hour and a half practice. Game day skates are 50 minutes, but like, it's unbelievable. Hold on, now let me see what the average player. The average amount of sticks players use is 60 to 100 in a season. To give you an idea how many McKinnon goes through. So I think I added it up before. McKinnon's doing them at that whatever that minimum per stick is. That's like $14,000 a year in sticks.
So yeah, let's see. How many did you say you did?
400. So I did 400 times. I did 125.
Yeah.
Oh no, 50,000.
It's 48,000 at 120 bucks, which is kind of where which is kind of where our team cost was a year ago.
Yeah. So, but when you're Nathan McKinnon, no one's going to argue with you.
Well, and I mean, at the end of the day, now, what I'm about to say isn't truly makes sense because you're talking about however many other guys on the team, but for a NHL franchise, it's supposed to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, if not more. 48 grand it's in someone's couch.
Well, and not to mention, McKinnon might have a gear deal where nobody pays it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I would imagine at that level, most, if not all of them have something, even if it's, not full on, but
like you're paying cost or something.
I guess
like
the
that.
question I would have, and I somewhat know the answer to this, as do you, because we've both done it. In fact, this pair of skates I have is because of something like this. And you kind of mentioned it earlier. But 400 sticks a year, he's not breaking them all. Where are they going? And again, we sort of know the answer to this because we've both done the, end of year, quote unquote, garage sales and all that kind of stuff, but they're not all going to that.
No, some are going to garage sales. Some's like I'm sure he gives to fans.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got like a stick closet like Ovi does.
Yeah. Because like for example, I said the skates I have were bought back when I was still in Dallas. They were a former Stars player. I don't even remember who they were. They were a Stars player, and they were at the time probably $600-700 a pair of skates that I got for $100.
And actually, if you live near an NHL team that does a garage sale, go. Not only just because of the gear, but some players wear 2 different size skates.
That's what mine are.
And a lot of people, and a lot of people have that same issue. I probably have that because I will feel it more in one foot than the other.
Mine are not. Mine are even like a lot of them. This second pair I've gotten. I actually had a pair of Zubov skates before these, but these aren't even like. And I don't remember my size anymore after all these years. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to throw a number out there. But these aren't even like, because again, those that aren't hockey people watching this, hockey skate sizes are different from shoe sizes. So I wear like 11 to 11 and a half shoe. My skates are these days bigger because I'm not
Probably a
playing.
9 something.
They were 9.5. When I played, I think I wore 9. Now I'm like 9.5, so I have a little extra room when I'm just standing around. But these are, one of them is like 9.5. The other one's like 9.25. Like that's how custom they were. They were very custom, so they're not even halves; they're at a quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, because I wear a 10 and a half shoe, and my Bauer does the letters with them for width.
Yes,
So I wear like an 8E
that's a wide
on
foot.
my, huh?
That's a wide foot.
In the front, it's wide. My heel is really thin. So that's what I like about, because I have the Bauer Nexus, the one ends, like their older model, obviously. That's I love about it is it's nice and wide at the front, and the heel is still nice and narrow.
I have the 3X.
So, but I want to do a follow up.
Jeremy's got the same skates he had when he was at the Brahmas.
Remember, Jeremy doesn't even have equipment. Remember, he lost his equipment.
He has like something pieced together because I think he tried to play briefly because he got talked into it here in Springfield before I moved here. So,
but yeah, I remember he didn't even have equipment. But the reason I said in the beginning this is a part 1 of 2 because I want to get some parents.
Yeah.
From a couple different, like we talked about my friend Brittany. Her son plays hockey in Florida, which is a very costly place to play. And I would like to get some people from some other sports too.
Yeah.
Just to get an idea and get their perspective and what they think about it. People with younger kids, if they're thinking about it. Hopefully we don't ruin some poor kid's sports future by making parents worry. But no, so if you're watching this and you're a parent and you want to join us for that.
And it's important you say that because, and I'll bring another piece into this too. We're sports guys. We talk about sports all the time. Sports are important, not from the sport aspect of it. It's from the lessons learned playing the sport. It's the life lessons learned. It's the camaraderie. It's the wrong and right, the aspect of it. And if you start out pricing people for being able to have their kids play a sport where they can learn life lessons separate from the sport itself. It's the same with, schools losing music programs, which are incredibly important. Art programs, which are incredibly important. You were a musician. I'm a huge music guy from not just my photography days before that. I'm obviously an art guy. You're an art guy when it comes to photography, even though it's sports. Don't let anybody ever tell you that's not art, what you're doing.
Well, I mean, I do the other stuff, but I will argue with people.
No, you know what I mean, though. And,
yeah.
Sports, art, music, all of that stuff, STEM things and all that stuff is so. I mean, we can get into, and we will get into many more broad topics when it comes to this. But you start pricing out people from sports. You start taking away programs in schools. You start doing this and that. And you're just doing harm to these kids.
It's a huge disservice to them,
100%.
And it's like even the most basic of life lessons, from socializing, like you said, camaraderie. And then also you're learning things just like discipline and responsibility of having to make sure you're at practice, making sure you're there on time, making sure you're working hard during the practices. I actually arguably value, of course, in retrospect, will value much more for my practicing days than games.
For sure.
Of course, at the time I was like, screw practice. I just want to play a game. But
and learning how to deal with disappointment because you're not going to win every game, how to deal with success because you are going to win some games, how to just
the adversity. I mean,
we say,
both had injuries.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and it doesn't go away, as my situation recently is mentioned, but you mentioned it a while back and you were dead right. One of the things I've always said, you've always said, Jeremy's always said, when it comes to our philosophy as coaches, especially at the level we're coaching, but it goes for any level. I don't care if you're at the highest level in the world, the NHL. All these coaches will say the same thing. Our job is not solely, in fact, I would say minimally, about making great hockey players. It's about making better human beings. Because our guys aren't going to the NHL. they're like the team we have right now, incredibly talented. We'll have guys play professional hockey for sure, probably quite a few. They're not going to the NHL. They know that. They're not idiots.
Right.
But
And great if they do somehow.
yeah, if they can pull that off, more power to you. That's amazing. Our responsibility is about making better human beings, and sports is such a huge part of that. Art is such a huge part. Music, such a huge part of that. All these things that people can get into, whatever club it is at your school, a chess club, I don't care what it is. These are important things in a bigger conversation that we are going to have. But if there's one thing that should be able to be dealt with, although it's becoming harder and harder, especially in current times. Again, you and I, as best we can, have avoided politics. We haven't always done it. In fact, we definitely haven't on many occasions. But it's becoming even harder now when you talk, whether it's tariffs or anything else. Nothing makes
it all plays a part.
It all plays a part. Like I said, as I've said many times, including in this episode, I have family that owns the oldest hockey and figure skating shop in the South. There's some others that have been around a long time. They're the oldest. May not be the most well known at this point because of all the big names that are out there, but they are the oldest. It's over 40 years now. And I hear this from my mom all the time, and how their pricing goes up, and not only just pricing goes up, but pricing, the fluctuation and all that with the tariff issue, and even where they can order from now, because some of these companies are trying certain ways to alleviate it, but it's making it worse and this and that. I mean, it's a whole, I guess where I'm going with that part of it is the confusion surrounding all of it, and how it's definitely not making the situation better by any means. It's making it worse. And I just hope a conversation like this, whoever's going to watch it will understand the importance of making any sport. Obviously, you and I love hockey, and we want everybody to have the ability to play hockey, but we know that's not possible for a lot of reasons. Probably the number one being financial. And we would love for everybody to have the opportunity to do it. But whatever sport it is, let's keep the financial part of it to a point where that's not the factor keeping people away. If it's something else, we'll work on that next. But right now, a huge part of that, especially in our sport, or golf, which I love as well, or whatever it is, you name it, skiing, incredibly expensive sport, whatever it is, let the kids be able to have the fun, be with their friends, doing what they all want to do and enjoying life, and make it a financially possible thing to do and not take that part of it away. That's where I would kind of go with that.
I think it's a great place to end the episode, honestly. If you're a parent and you have a kid in sports, any sports, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on and talk to you. We'll do this part 2 probably in a few weeks. And it's always like, again, we've seen it from the other side, but I am very curious to hear the feelings and thoughts on it coming from the parents themselves. And we say this, we say this from not a cynical standpoint, but
Well,
we say this. I mean, it's cynical, but it's not us just being an outside judge. It's coming from a point where like we're seeing it. It's just like, we love seeing these sports grow. And I don't want to see the plateau anytime soon. I don't want the plateau to be reached in my lifetime. Cookie's about 100 years older than me, so my lifetime's a little bit longer than his. I couldn't go the whole show without making a joke about it.
you're literally like a few years younger. Just because I mentioned earlier in the episode I turned 50 in a couple months. You're not far away either, asshole.
47 next month.
Yeah, see? Yeah, off.
Doesn't matter. I'm gonna ride this one out as long as I can.
Jeez.
But it's something. Again, and not even just like, oh, be sports, be athletes. Everything Cookie said about the lessons learned. Sports stop, those stop, and we've seen it.
Sport. Yeah, it's not about the sport itself.
And you make great points about even within schools. you know, and I don't know, it's not the same in many other countries, but here in the US, sports start in school. You know, you play your youth sports, and when you're a kid, you're like, I'm going to play for my school. And then you get to school, and then you start thinking about where you want to go play. But you don't want to see it fade, and you don't want to see the talent go down because not enough people are getting into it. But yeah, reach out to us if you're a parent with a kid. A parent with a kid. That's the most redundant thing.
Moving on.
Cookie, you just want to say bye? I think I'm done here.
Save you on that one. That one was pretty bad.
At least I caught myself. But yeah, if you're a parent, we definitely want to hear from you and have you on here and maybe even get some other people in here. It'd be great to do a kind of a round table and kind of thing and get some people from all aspects of it. But we appreciate everybody watching. You know, we hope you guys take some great things from this, and hopefully everybody's brains just start spinning on preservation at this point.
Yeah, and you know, I think you're right. I think it's a good way to end it. I will say, the last thing from me before I do my goofy stuff. You know, we're not the ones to solve a lot of these problems, and there's other problems within the sports we're talking about, but not. And again, not to get too deep into this, but the financial side of it being a reason why someone can't do this is just wrong, in my opinion. I realize there's a lot more important things that, you know, finances can go to. But I will never take away how important, as I said a minute ago, being involved in sports, being involved in art, being involved in music, whatever it is to the development of kids and making them better people moving forward. So we all need to be able to find a way to take the financial burden off of all of that. I don't know the answer. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I do. You know, as with everything going on in my world, I'm dealing with my own financial side of things. But when it comes to these kids, there's got to be a way we can take that off the ledger, if you will, and make sports, art, music, whatever it is, viable for everybody. And then, you know, we'll be raising a better group of humans for sure. So make sure you like and subscribe and share.
Very well said, Cookie. Couldn't agree more. Thank you, everybody. And it wouldn't be the end of the show without Cookie doing that. So
please do like and subscribe and share, though. That's, you know, this is important for us. John and I are loving what we're doing. We want the feedback for sure. Absolutely, comment 100%. Sinbad keeps commenting, man. I love the guy.
He's
all
great.
over it. Commented
He's
on
great.
Crystal's thing. I sent it to Crystal, and she absolutely loved it. So Sinbad, I'm sure you're watching this. Crystal did see that post because I sent it to her, and she thought it was very sweet. So thank you for that.
We do have a lot of regular listeners. I think their fingers break while they're watching, so they can't click the like and they can't click the comment.
We have someone up in Alberta that I know is listening, because he messaged me again the other day.
Yeah. Man, I really hope he makes he doesn't make the trips, I don't think. I wish he did, though. It'd be good to see him.
Yeah.
But okay, bye for real.
Yeah, bye.